So I'm going to say this real simple. I'm going to start off by saying I am sick beyond, I don't even know what level, of having to defend myself against people who choose to assume the worst of me. It right now is Sunday at 8:16 p.m. I just got out of bed. Why? Well, nobody, the person that keeps making these ridiculous assumptions, and I keep having to be like, no, that's not what happened. I'm not doing that. This is the situation. I am already going through the a lot. We'll just keep it at that. I'm already going through a lot. Why do I have to defend myself to a supposed friend every single solitary freaking day that we communicate? It makes no sense. Why wasn't I able to inform you that I'm not, whether I'm coming over today or not? Because I didn't wake up till 8:16 p.m. Now, why was that? Well, do we care? Probably not. We only probably care about our own feelings. But I have been sick over the recent information that I was given. Um, I basically, I don't know how else to put it, but I'll put it very bluntly. I have an expiration date. Okay? Um, I have a little time, but I don't have a ton. It's February. So I just, it's like, okay, just found that out yesterday. Wasn't feeling good. Had to hang up the phone on this person. Texted this person and stated why I had to hang up so it wasn't just complete dismissal. That wasn't enough. I went to bed sick. I slept not well because I woke up drenched in sweat, probably from whatever dreams I don't remember. And I still feel sick. And I wake up again to a message, and it's like, I feel this way. I'm okay. You feel that way because you assumed I actually had the means to let you know if I was coming over today, or the gas money to even do so. Like, that is another thing that blows me away. We literally verbally talked on the phone yesterday about finances, and I don't even have a penny extra to spend at this point. And that includes gas. So it's like, and I didn't say anything about that, but I thought that was kind of like a given. Um, but it wasn't, apparently, because this person either doesn't believe it or it just is not resonating because they've never had to deal with anything like this. So, you know, I I really did think it was a given. But again, any communication today, I'm so sick of waking up, like sleeping like crap, going to bed not feeling well, not feeling well while I sleep, waking up not feeling well, and then checking my messages, and I have, oh, I like, just, I'm reading a novel about how horrible I am, basically, because I didn't do this or I didn't do this at the right time, or whatever it is. And I'm like, okay, so let me get this straight. This is somehow acceptable to do to me consistently when I am literally hanging on by a thread that's about to break in half. And it's not something that's just in my mind or whatever. It's real shit. And so I'm like, Yeah. y- Am I going to respond to that for the 76th time and defend myself and be like, well, this is what really happened? No, because I'm sick of people assuming the worst. I am sick of it. I am sick of why wasn't there? Are you okay? Did you end up getting sleep? There was none of that in there. It was just assumptions that I was awake, that I was not sick, that I was somehow handling the news that I found out yesterday perfectly fine. And it just blows my mind in such a negative way that people are so self centered. And I have been guilty of that, I know. But I'm like screaming practically at this point, like, hello. Like, none of what I'm saying is an exaggeration. Like, and this person has seen documentation to prove that. Like, I don't care that it's August. February isn't gonna like take forever to get here. So I don't know. I sorry, not sorry that you're upset at some like high school shit because you assumed again the worst of me when I'm laying here sick and alone, I might add. So it just is like, does that make sense? Would you want to be treated like that? Did anyone treat you like that when you were going through any of your health battles? Did they constantly like be like, oh, you haven't called, you were supposed to do it. You never let me know if you were coming over tomorrow, even though it was probably a given considering you said 500 times how you couldn't afford gas money. But nonetheless, like, did anybody ever treat you like that when you were going through your health battles? I would assume probably not, and if they did, you definitely wouldn't have put up with it. You would have dismissed them from your life and that would have been it. But here's me still like, well, I don't want to lose a friend, but at the same time, I literally have an expiration date of February, and I am not going to spend my remaining moments or a moment more being like, no, that's not what really that's no, let me clarify and I'm sorry, let me apologize for you assuming the worst of me. Like, what? And if I can impart anything to anyone, unless you've actually done something, do not apologize for other people assuming the worst of you. Do not apologize for that shit because it turns into a whole like that's all that you do. And your feelings then never matter and aren't even believed most of the time. So just if you find that that's what you're doing with somebody, run. Like, run faster than you've ever ran before and further than you've ever ran because it is such a cruel thing to do. And the people that have made me defend myself know that they're doing it. And it's extremely cruel to the point of evil because they already know what I'm going through, and then they're going to have to make me defend what I'm going through and prove and this and that and be like, well, okay, let me make sure that I didn't hurt your feelings again for absolutely no reason because you assumed wrongly of me. Like, let's console you while I've had no consolation. Like, I am alone every day thinking about this, and I can only talk for a certain time to this person and say certain things, and then it's not okay. Like, there has been no, like, and I'm supposed to, no, especially the way that I'm approached with it's absurd. I'm sick of defending myself. I'm just I'm not doing it anymore. So if you want to assume the worst, I'm not ever going to correct anyone again. Like, I don't know what wasn't clear when we verbally spoke yesterday, but me saying I don't have gas money doesn't mean like, well, in the future I won't have gas money. No, I don't have a penny to spend on gas money. Unless it's an absolute necessity or emergency, my car is not driving there. Period. End of story. I don't know how that wasn't clear yesterday. Um, but apparently I overnight was going to generate some gas money, I guess. I have no fucking idea. Again, I get it and to a point because this person has never by a long shot had to ever think in these terms or deal with this type of thing financially. So, okay. But after so many times of me being like, hello, like it's, you would think they would see the light or just be like, okay, like I get it now or something, but no. And am I going to sit there and type all of this stuff and be like, well, let me correct you on how you assumed the worst of me again and let me explain what was going on and just, it hasn't even been 24 hours. And I'm like, cool. I'm glad that I was sick and still not feeling well, slept just really not good, and woke up to that again. I'm just like, this is another reason why I've accepted February, because what in the world? I mean, it just, like I said, and I'll use the word as many times as I please because I now feel so horrible. Like I've just been the worst person to enter this person's life. And I know I'm not. So I'll use the word. What you're doing, that's manipulation. That's evil. What I'm doing is trying to survive the daily or weekly more and more and more tragic, negative, like basically hopeless news that I'm receiving where I have no way to resolve it and I just have to the only thing I can do is pray. And so do I also want to be like defending myself at the same time? No, I think we know that. I think I've said that before, like over the course of years, many, many times. My whole life has been defending myself, proving I'm not lying, and I never was. Like, I always, it just, but I'm not even doing it anymore. I'm not defending myself. If you want to believe the worst, believe the worst. If you want, whatever. I purposely ignored you. I was up all day out and about, frolicking in the grass with my 10 best friends and, whatever. I don't care. I, that's the thing, is that I've got a limit. I've, and it takes a lot to reach it, but once you reach it, I'm indifferent. And I truly am like, well, now at this point, what am I gonna do? Sit here and worry about that or just live my life? Like, am I gonna, do I want to have to defend myself every day? Nobody probably does. And especially if you're going through something that's beyond incredibly stressful and just not going to have a good resolution, we'll say. So, to that person, sure, I could have spoken privately, but you also could have not assumed the worst of me. So, it's my channel, my page. I'll come on and vent as often as I want to about whatever I want to. And that's what it's going to be. It's my life. It's not anybody else's. I'm sick of everybody else telling me, no, you should feel this way. You should do this. You should do that. I've done everything perfectly, practically, like without listening to that and without, you know, um, and still I'm made to be the bad guy, whether it be based off a lie or somebody's just negative assumption of me that they refuse to turn around in their brain. And I'm not trying to help them turn it around anymore. Am I going to spend the remainder of whatever doing that? Or am I going to try to just enjoy what I'm able to? I mean, what do you think? Let's really think about that deeply. So, with that being said, I'm done like reaching out, apologizing because you assume it's like I'm back in high school. I'm sorry that you assumed the worst of me and you were feeling hurt all day. How is that my fault? Why should I ever have had to apologize for that to anyone? I shouldn't have. It's within my own self because people really make you feel like you're the problem when it's like, no, they created that. They're making up a whole story in their mind about you when that's not what's actually happening. So, prior when I said narcissist, I felt kind of bad about it because I was like, maybe that's not quite the case. But no, this is exactly what's happening. Like, the only feelings that are important are yours. You continue to tell me how you're even still, you're inviting me over. Even still, you're here. Even still, which the even still, what does that imply? All that implies even though you're dot 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 dot, fill in the blank with any negative words or phrases, I'm still that that doesn't what am I supposed to say to that? Like, thank you for be like thinking that I'm just this horrible person when I'm not, and still you're deigning to be friends with me. Would you like a freaking medal for that? Like, do you want a cookie, a prize? I don't get that. Like, I get it in the way of that's absolutely narcissistic manipulation, gaslighting tactics that I went through before. Other than that, it makes no sense. It just doesn't make any sense. So, again, I said what I said here, and I'm done wasting my oxygen on people who literally choose not to listen, or they listen and they're still going to treat me the same exact way. They do not care about anything but themselves. They may say otherwise. You can say things. I could say something right now 1,000 times in a row. But if I don't actually act it or be that in life, then it's meaningless. So there you have it. It's really quite simple to understand, And I could go into more detail, but again, I'm not going to waste my time defending myself against people choosing to assume the worst of me. It's just, no. And the fact that I ever did before, I apologize to myself for, because I deserve better. I, I did nothing to warrant that to anyone who's ever done that and assumed the worst of me. And especially this person, especially somebody that knows every detail of what's going on and verbally speaking to them, not just texting. No, I don't know what was unclear, but I thought it was a given. If I don't have a penny extra to spend, I'm not driving anywhere, which I said this yesterday, unless it's an emergency or an errand that I absolutely have to do. Okay? So I guess I needed to make that, re-clarify that today, and I wasn't able to because I was asleep, sick in my bed. And I'm in the wrong. I'm the bad guy, and I'm supposed to be feeling, like I'm the worst person that ever existed, is the point here. And I know that's the point because that's what I felt every other time. And it's interesting because part of the conversation we had yesterday involved some of my depression, we'll just say. And so it's like, okay, so you're literally, like, how low I am, and you're literally sending me things to read that are only going to make me feel lower. When one of two things could have happened. You could have not assumed the worst, or you could have just not sent your text, which, is like, hello? It's like you're, yeah. It's like I'm telling you, this is how I'm feeling, and you're like, well, let me make you feel that even deeper so that you can poof, basically. And this person can say, oh, that's not the case a billion times over. Again, saying something and actually acting this way and being this way, two very different things. A lot of times words do not match up with actions, and yep. And again, I don't need to be reminded of anything that you've done for me, or the fact that you're still here even though I'm a terrible person, and you're still inviting me over even though I'm a terrible person, and you've not given up on me even though I'm a terrible person. I'm not a terrible person. You assume the worst of me, and if anything, you're a terrible person. You're somebody who cloaks that with helping others, and then when and this can be just, you assume the worst, when they make you feel any type of way, you verbally attack. So, yep. And at this point, I have no more time left to continue to defend myself, continue to cry and feel bad because people keep assuming the worst. If that's clearly where you want to stay, is just assuming the worst of me in your mind, then stay there. Don't walk it back this time. I'm sick of that. I'm done with the circus, I'm done with the clowns, and I'm done with the drama. I have till February, and that's it. So, run from drama. Run from it. I'm telling you, because it is just not Not a way to live. Live, laugh, love. It's not, it's just not, simply. And I think a lot of people know that on their own, but a lot of people might not. But I'm telling you, it's no. And then also the people that only care about themselves, like, that only have time for you when they have time for you and your supposed friends, but like, yeah, just walk away. There's better out there. It's better to even be alone. I mean, at least you don't have to like defend yourself against negative assumptions made about you, or be in some like flimsy ass stupid friendship that, yeah. So, and I know for some it's really hard to be alone, but like, let me tell you, at the end of the day, it's better than having to have something occur in your life where you're going through the absolute worst, and you also have to contend with arguing or whatever it is with somebody else. So, this may very well be my last one, because I just am not gonna waste my time like that. But just be better. Be a better human. Like, and if you can't be, then I don't know. Definitely don't go around telling people you're there for them and you can be their friend when you absolutely cannot be. So, it just makes things worse. So, I've said what I've said, and I am keeping it short because time is fleeting. So, yep. Kindness, love, and actually being everything that you're saying. Like, you can say whatever, but let's actually translate that into actually being that way too, not just saying the words. Let's be unconditional. Let's not make people who are already at rock bottom have to defend themselves. Kindness and love. Period. Toodles.